सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। हरि ओम. So the essential teaching of the Upanishads, what we also call as Atma Jnana, is in the form of Mahavakyas. Mahavakya, literally translated as great statement, is basically identity revealing statement in the words of Pujya Gurudev. So what do you mean by identity revealing statement? That statement which tells me my oneness with the Supreme, individual's oneness with the totality, is called as Mahavakya. So generally in Mahavakya there are three components: the individual component, the total component, and the oneness component. Suppose, for example, we have many Mahavakyas in the many Upanishads. Famous are four: Prajnanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma. These four are well known from four Vedas, right? Now suppose we take Tattvamasi. See, all Mahavakyas essentially tell the same, that individual is actually the Supreme. Okay, so the words are different but the message is same. So suppose let us take Tattvamasi as a Mahavakya. Then there are three components. The individual component, which is called as Tvam Pada. Pada means word, component. Then second is Tat Pada. Tvam means you, individual. Tat means that, total. And Asi Pada. Asi means that component which shows oneness. So when we inquire into the Mahavakyas, into the meaning of the Mahavakyas, we have to inquire into these three components: the individual component, the total component, and the oneness component. Now, what is being explained? Tayoho vivekaha katham was the question. How to distinguish between self and not self. Now Shankaracharya says this has to be explained in two ways: in individual's level, also in total level. Means what? how to separate, differentiate self from the not self, where the not self is explained as Panchakosha and the self is the pure Satchidananda Swarupa Atma. That has been explained now, so far. Now what? Now that Tatpada Vichara has to be done. Means what? On the level of totality also, there is Brahman and there is world. Now the differentiation has to happen in the Brahman and world also. That Brahman is real and the world is not real. Are you understanding? And therefore, for that Viveka Vichara, now the next section begins. Tvampada, the essential component is the self, which is different from not self. Tatpada, the essential component is Brahman, which is different from the world. So before explaining this Tatpada, before inquiring into Tatpada, Shankaracharya first shows that this Brahman and Atman are same. We saw two verses we saw last time. Brahma abhinnattva vijñānam bhava mokshasya karanam, verse number 223, where he said that the cause of liberation from samsara is what? Vijñānam, experience. Experience of what? Brahma abhinnattva. Experience, realization of Brahman being non-different from the self. Being non-different from the self. That is the cause of liberation. Yena, by which advitiyam, non-dual, anandam, bliss, Brahma, by which that Brahman, which is of this nature, buddha sampadyate, a wise attains that Brahman. So by knowing that I am Brahman, the wise attains Brahman. Brahmavit brahmaiva bhavati. The knower of Brahman. Knower of Brahman means not the one who understands that there is some Brahman. No, the one who realizes that that supreme Brahman is me. Such a person becomes Brahman. Brahmavit brahmaiva bhavati. And one who gains this kind of realization, brahmabhutastu, such a person, samsrityai na avartate punaha. Vidwan, such a wise person, samsrityai, in the world, in samsara, punaha na avartate, does not come back. So what we want to achieve is the destruction of all sorrows and attainment of that joy. That will be achieved when I realize my oneness with Brahman. Okay, therefore, ataha vijñātavyam, this should be realized. Samyak vijñātavyam, clearly what? Brahma abhinnattvam atmanaha. Atmanaha Brahma abhinnattvam samyak vijñātavyam. Therefore, one must realize well the identity of self with Brahman. Okay. Now, please understand also, when the Mahavakya says Tattvamasi, the topic will come again, that time we will see deeper analysis. Tattvamasi, you are that. That you are. See, it looks like contradiction in the words itself. That is something far. You are something in front. How can that be you? How can you be that? And we further, if we analyze also, individuality is small, little knowledge, little existence. We only measure by the existence of the body, little power. Whereas that, if you say Lord, is all powerful, all pervasive, all knower, where is the oneness? So that is why this Atma Anatma Viveka, this differentiating self from not self, we consider ourselves to be body, mind, intellect, then there cannot be oneness. Oneness has to be understood from essential point, from essential nature. So first the Atmanatma Viveka has done, Shankaracharya has done, and now he is going towards Brahman. So you have been telling that I am that Brahman and I must realize myself to be that Brahman to get liberation. What is that Brahman? That Brahman is explained now. Tat Pada Vichara begins verses 225 to 240. 16 verses we are going to do this Tat Pada Vichara. And in that Tat Pada Vichara also we are beginning with what is Brahman. That's the first verse. Let us read verse number 225. The meter is not known, means not consistent meter, so we will chant like we chant Upanishads. Satyaṃ jñānamanantaṃ brahma
Satyaṃ jñānamanantaṃ brahma
viśuddhaṃ paraṃ svataḥsiddham
viśuddhaṃ paraṃ svataḥsiddham
nityānandaikarasaṃ
nityānandaikarasaṃ
pratyagabhinnaṃ nirantaraṃ jayati
pratyagabhinnaṃ nirantaraṃ jayati
satyaṃ jñānamanantaṃ brahma viśuddhaṃ paraṃ svataḥsiddham nityānandaikarasaṃ pratyagabhinnaṃ nirantaraṃ jayati. There is a reason why I am not stopping at pratyak. Nityānandaikarasaṃ pratyag abhinnam nirantaram. That pratyagabhinnam is one word. That's why I am stopping before that. Okay. Nityānandaikarasaṃ pratyagabhinnam nirantaram jayati. What does it mean? Who is that Brahman? What is that Brahman? Brahma, Brahma, Brahma. All the time Vedantins are doing. Who is that? Satyaṃ, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. This is a famous Shruti, a famous line from Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmanandavalli, first Anuvaka itself. First itself. Brahmavida apnoti param tadeshabhyukta satyaṃ jñānamanantaṃ brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam paramevyoman so oshnute sarvan kamaan sah brahmana vipaschiteti, etc., etc., etc. It goes. The line says what? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Let us understand the meanings of words separately. Satyam. What do you mean by Satyam? General meaning that we know of the word Satyam is what? Truth. But here the T is capital. Means what? Here we are not talking about the truth, in the kind of way that we say. Will tell the truth, don't lie. Not that kind of truth. We are not even talking about, whether I am seeing truth or not. Not like that also. Not from the standpoint of morality also. We are talking about something that is absolutely true. Reality. Existence. Satyam. Existence. Why? Because Sat means existence. Trikale api tishtati iti Sat. That which stays in all the 3 periods of time, constant, it's called as Sat. So Satyam, the word means existence. Jnanam means consciousness. Again C capital. In this verse, all are capital. Okay. Consciousness. Anantam, infinite. Nānārūpaṃ, the one that has no end. Remember, we had seen there are many things which are anadi, but all of them have got anta. Many things which are anadi. Jiva, Ishvara, Maya, Kala, Samsara, so many things are anadi. But all of them end. Whereas how is this? Anantam, no end. Of course anadi, but anantam, infinite. Brahma. See the word Brahma itself, Brihatvat Brahma. It is big, therefore it is called Brahma. Brahma literally means big. Pronunciation of the word also, sometimes people get confused. Whether we should say Brahma or whether we should say Brahma, it is neither. It's Brahma. Brahma. Limitless big is called as Brahma. See, the word Atman itself explains that it is something core to us. Remember? Yachapnoti yadadatte yachanti vishayaniha yachasya santatobhāvah tasmanatmeti giryate. One definition we had seen of the word Atma, which the word itself says that it is inner. So the word itself points out at our core nature. Just like that, the word Brahma itself shows that it is limitless big. So totality is indicated through the word Brahman. Why? Because the word Brahma itself means big, limitless big. No degree of big and small. It is limitless, infinite big. Now sometimes we are used to calling Satchidananda Brahma, where Sat is existence, Chit is consciousness, and Ananda is bliss. Correct? So what do we say? Existence, consciousness, bliss. Here Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is said, not Anandam. Anantam is said. So is there a difference between Anantam and Anandam? No, it is one and the same. Why? Because that which is infinite alone can be bliss. There is one chapter of Chandogya Upanishad dedicated to this. Bhumaiva sukham, yo vai bhuma tat sukham, na alpe sukhamasti. Upanishad says, that which is infinite bhuma, tat sukham, that alone is bliss. Na alpe sukhamasti. Anything that is finite cannot be bliss. So Satyam, Jnānamanantaṃ itself is Satchidananda. It's another way of saying the same. Okay, so Satyam is Sat, Jnanam is Chit, Anantam is Ananda. It's one and the same. But the important thing is what? Some time back, maybe 2-3 sessions back, we had done some analysis, if you remember, of what is our essential nature, swabhavika dharma, and what is naimittika dharma. Remember, where we had said to be swabhavika dharma, it should be something. 4 conditions we had seen. I hope you remember that. Right? That which is essential, without which it is not itself, which cannot be given up nor can it be taken up. It doesn't become burden on itself. Remember? All those points we had seen. Right? Similarly, here you see, Satchidananda or Satyam Jnānamanantaṃ is nature of Brahman. It is not qualities. These are not qualities of Brahman. Like, suppose there is a lotus. We say the lotus is a flower, blue in color, soft to touch. Correct? Now remember, these 3 are qualities of lotus. And therefore, while describing the lotus, when I am giving qualities, then I have to use comma. Ball, another example. Round in color, soft to touch. Round in shape, soft to touch, red in color, blue in color, yellow in color. Now remember, so when I say ball is what? Round, comma, soft, comma, blue, or yellow or red, whatever is the color of that ball. Correct? Where roundness has no connection with redness. Isn't it? It can be some other color also. Those 2 qualities, they all are connected to ball, but they are not connected to each other. Ball, you understand what I am saying, right? These are all qualities of that object. But here, Satchidananda or Satyam Jnānamanantaṃ, these are not qualities. Therefore, we cannot say Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, or Sat, Chit, Ananda. We cannot say that. Why? Because that which is Sat itself is Chit. itself is Ananda, that is Brahman or Atman, whatever you want to say. So generally we will write it as hyphen, Sat dash Chit dash Ananda. We don't say Sat comma Chit comma existence comma consciousness comma bliss. No, existence, consciousness, bliss means what? It is one and the same. You call it existence, it is Brahman. You call it consciousness, same Brahman. You call it bliss, it is same Brahman. We can say these are three ways of looking at that same reality, Brahman. Satyaṃ, jñānam, anantam. And there can be many other ways. There can be many more facets by which you can look at that same reality. That doesn't make that reality different. If we consider Satyam, Jnanamanantam to be qualities of Brahman, please note, then the qualities remain separate from the object. See, the ball and the redness are two different things. Ball is not redness. A ball is red, agreed. But ball is not redness. And that ball can be yellow also, blue also, green also, white also, anything. But here, if we say Brahman has got these qualities, then Brahman will be different from the qualities. It is not like that. That which is Sat, itself is Chit, itself is Ananda, itself is Brahman. Sat is not different from Brahman. Brahman is not different from Sat. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, these three are not qualities. It is the nature. Sometimes also, when we hear these words Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, we don't understand anything. What are you talking? What is Satya? If Satya is not what we speak, you are talking about existence. What is this existence? What is this consciousness? What is this bliss? I am not understanding. Don't worry. Why? You will not understand. Why? Because understanding is the function of intellect. And this Brahman is beyond intellect. Vedji, then why are you explaining? So that you will not misunderstand something else to be Brahman. That is why explanation. The explanation is not to tell what is Brahman. The explanation is to tell what is not Brahman. What is my true nature? I cannot understand it by intellect or mind. That I have to realize. But at least I can understand that whatever I right now understand as me is not me. Whatever I understand right now as that supreme is not that supreme. That much also if we understand, the job is done. So Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Now some more facets of the same. viśuddhaṃ. Visheshena Shuddham. Extremely pure. Now what do you mean by extremely pure? There is nothing in it other than it. That is called pure. See, impurity is what? If something is there other than itself, then it is impurity. But for Brahman, there is nothing other than Brahman, and therefore it is extremely pure. viśuddhaṃ. Param. Param, supreme. It is most supreme. There is nothing more greater than Brahman. And that's why Brihatvat Brahma. Infinite big. It's beyond even comparison. Param. Svataḥsiddham. Self-evident. Self-revealing. Self-luminous. It doesn't need any other entity to establish its existence. Svataḥsiddham. Sometimes we use the word Swayambhu. In temples, etc., they will say, no, this is Swayambhu temple. Swayambhu temple means what? Where the murti is not built. It was already there. Jyotirlingas are generally, we say Swayambhu Jyotirlinga. Means what? That the linga was already there. There are many other temples where we do pratishtha, where we build, we sculptor makes a vigraha and then we do prana pratishtha. That is different. This is swayambhu. Swayambhu means swayam bhavati. It was there by itself. It was there by itself. In the same way, this Brahman is svataḥsiddham. It is there by itself. Nothing else is required. Svataḥsiddham. nityānandaikarasaṃ. Nitya, eternal. Ananda, bliss. Ekarasaṃ, indivisible. Cannot be divided into small pieces. Indivisible. Eternal, indivisible bliss without any parts. nityānandaikarasaṃ. pratyagabhinnaṃ. One word. Abhinnam, non-different. Pratyak, from the inner. Means what? It is not different from the inner self. It is one with the self. Non-different from the self. Nirantaraṃ jayati. This Brahman is ever victorious. Ever victorious? Satyameva jayate. Another Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad says, truth alone wins. Isn't it? This is the Satyam. This is the final reality, ultimate, supreme, most truth. And therefore it always is victorious. It is victorious means what? It never ceases to exist. It always is. Why? Because it is isness. Therefore, nirantaraṃ jayati. So what is said? Nature of Brahman is explained. Now what? Now what is the connection between Brahman and world? That is explained now from next verse till verse number 236. So 226 to 236 is explanation of this Brahman and world. Let us read. Same meter continues. Sadidaṃ paramādvaitaṃ.
sadidaṃ paramādvaitaṃ.
Svasmādanyasya vastuno'bhāvāt.
svasmādanyasya vastuno'bhāvāt.
hyanyadasti kiṃcit.
hyanyadasti kiṃcit.
samyakparamārthatattvabodhadaśāyām.
paramādvaitaṃ.
sadidaṃ paramādvaitaṃ. svasmādanyasya vastuno'bhāvāt. hyanyadasti kiṃcit. samyakparamārthatattvabodhadaśāyām. What is said? Idam, this means what was explained in the previous verse. Idam sat. It is existence, reality. Paramādvaitam. It is absolute non-duality. Non-duality, advaita. Dvaita means duality. Duality means what? Two realities. Duality means two realities. Two reality means there are two things, both are real. That is called as dvaita. Advaita means no two realities. Which? No two realities means, are there many realities? No. Non-duality means there is only one reality. This Brahman is the single non-dual reality. Why are you saying like this? Svasmādanyasya vastunaha abhāvāt. Abhāvāt, because of absence. Absence of what? Svasmādanyasya vastuna. Because of absence of anything else other than itself. Brahman alone is. There is nothing other than Brahman. This you are going to hear for next 3 sessions. Don't get bored. This is what you are going to hear. sadidaṃ paramādvaitaṃ svasmādanyasya vastuno̩ abhāvāt. Nahi hyanyadasti kiṃcit. Anyat, other. Kiṃcit, even a bit. Nahi asti is not there. Who realizes this? Paramādvaitaṃ. In the state of realization, dasha, in the state, bodha of realization, of paramārthatatva, of the supreme reality, samyak. One who well realizes the supreme, for such a person, there is nothing else. Than the reality that is experienced and realized, there is nothing else. What is the topic which has started? What is the connection between Brahman and world? And the first verse says, Brahman alone is, because there is nothing else. And in that state of realization of Brahman, Brahman alone remains, nothing else is there. Okay? Veggie? Doubt. What doubt? What is this? Mouse, watch, iPad, light, TV. So many things are there. What are you saying? Brahman alone is there, there is nothing else. All these things are there. How can you say that Brahman alone is there, nothing is there? That is what now we have to understand. That is what he is explaining now, slowly. Once somebody went to Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, and said, you speak of this Vedanta and you have written so much, bhashyas are written on 10 Upanishads and Gita and Brahma Sutra, and then you have written so many Prakarana Granthas, and not just small, big Prakarana. You see, Vivekachoodamani is 580 verses and 1000 verses, Upadesha Sahasri, 1000 verses, Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha, and so many such big texts you have written. Can you summarize and tell me in one verse, what is Vedanta telling? See, the capacity of the skill of great teacher is when that teacher can explain everything in short time and as well as elaborate for a long time. That is skill. Some people are there, they can only elaborate. Essential point in short they cannot talk. And therefore, such people, when you get them for inaugurating something, etc., they start and talk, they go on and on, they don't stop. Whereas some people are there, they can't elaborate much because they know only little, so the little that they say and then they stop. Mark of a great teacher is what? Who can elaborate as well as summarize. Now you see the greatness of Shankaracharya, who has elaborated for such a long, granthas and granthas. Now he summarizes. He says, oh my dear, you are asking me to summarize entire teaching in one verse. I will summarize in half a verse. Shlokardhena pravakshami yaduktam granthakotibhi. In half a verse, I will summarize what is elaborated in crores of scriptures. And what is that half a verse? Brahma satyaṃ, jagan mithya, jivo brahmaiva nāparaha. Please remember this verse. Memorize this verse if you can. Shlokardhena pravakshami yaduktam granthakotibhi brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva nāparaha. So what is the essential teaching? Brahma satyam. Brahman alone is real. Jagat mithya. The world is unreal. Jivaha, the individual, brahmaiva, is Brahman alone. Na aparaha, is not different. See the beauty. Brahman alone is real. The world is not real. And the individual is Brahman alone. Non-different. Na apara is not different from Brahman. But Veji, If Brahman alone is there and world is not, then how can I see? How am I seeing the world? Let us analyze what we are seeing. Let us go step by step. World that we see, let us analyze. Let us find out from where this world has come. Earlier also we had seen this. If you remember, the very famous 3 laws of causation given by Pujya Gurudev. We had discussed this point earlier. He gives 3 laws to determine the cause of something. What are the 3 laws? Number 1, effect cannot be without a cause. Now you remember. Law number 2, effects are nothing but cause in different forms. Law number 2. And law number 3, from the effect, when the cause is removed, nothing remains. Correct? Now analyze. Effect, the world that we see is effect, cannot be without the cause. Means what? The world that we see, if it is there, it must have a cause. You cannot say that world suddenly came up. Suddenly nothing happens suddenly. It must have got a cause. Now this world, which is an effect, is nothing but the cause in different form. Means what? The world is not world. The world is the cause of the world in the form of the world. Effect is nothing but cause in another form. Okay? Now, do we know the cause yet? We don't know. So, as usual, let us call it as X. When we don't know something, what to do? Let us call it as X. So, the world has a cause X. Law number 1. Law number 2. The world is nothing but X in different form. Correct? Law number 3. From the world effect, when the cause is removed, X, nothing of the world should remain. So now, to determine what is X, what we have to do? We have to find out what, when removed from the world will not be there. Isn't it? That has to be the cause of the world. We always take examples. What? Bangles, necklace, ring, toe ring, nose ring, ear ring, all made up of gold. Effects must have cause. What is the cause of all this? Gold. Now, effects are nothing but cause in different form. In different forms. Gold in different forms becomes the necklace, bangles, ring, toe ring, nose ring, ear ring, etc. Correct? Also, from the effect ornaments, when the cause gold is removed, no ornament remains. Correct? And therefore we can say gold is the cause of ornaments. Ornaments are nothing but gold in different forms. Can we say that? Yes. Similarly, what when removed from the world will not remain, that is the cause of the world. The entire world is nothing but that cause in different form. This analysis also we have done earlier. Remember, chair is, break the chair, wood is, burn the wood, ash is. See, go on and on and on. What is constant? Constant is that isness. World is. From the world, if you remove that isness, the world will not remain. That isness is existence. That existence, satyaṃ, is what is called as Brahma. Brahma satyaṃ. Means what? Brahman is the cause of the world. What kind of cause of the world? Brahman is that cause which does not change, which undergoes no modification. Why? Because Jagat mithya. Because the world is not actually there, it is only imagined to be there. Next verse. Let us read verse number 227. Yadidaṃ sakalaṃ viśvaṃ nānārūpaṃ pratītamajñānāt tatsarvaṃ brahmaiva pratyastāśeṣabhāvanādoṣam yadidaṃ sakalaṃ viśvaṃ nānārūpaṃ pratītamajñānāt tatsarvaṃ brahmaiva pratyastāśeṣabhāvanādoṣam. If you say that Brahman alone is, and there is nothing other than Brahman, then what is this world? He explains, yadidaṃ sakalaṃ viśvaṃ. And now if you ask me what is this world, then I will tell you, yadidaṃ, that which is, sakalaṃ viśvaṃ, this entire world, nānārūpaṃ, which is of different forms, different shape, different colors, different forms, different, everything different, this entire world, ajñānāt pratītam, is only appearing due to ignorance. Actually, tatsarvaṃ brahmaiva. The entire world is Brahman alone. pratyastāśeṣabhāvanādoṣam. Where? What is that Brahman? Where dosha, fault. Fault of bhavana. Bhavana, feeling, imagination. Ashesha, totally, pratyasta, ended. Where all the faults of imaginations are ended. That is Brahman. In other words, we had earlier also seen, when I don't see rope as rope, I misunderstand it to be snake. From the non-apprehension of rope, misapprehension of snake arises. In the same way, from the non-apprehension of Brahman, misapprehension of the world arises. So the world that I am seeing is delusory vision, is delusion born from ignorance of the nature of Brahman, ignorance of Brahman. Actually, this entire world, which is appearing differently, is only appearing because of ignorance. Tatsarvaṃ brahmaiva, it is Brahman alone. Brahman alone. Understand the difference. See, for a goldsmith, all ornaments are just gold. Isn't it? He has value for that ornament according to the value of gold. He doesn't care about all the other values. Isn't it? Suppose your ring is 24 carat and bangle is 12 carat. Remember that small ring will fetch more money than the bangle which is big. And if your necklace is 1 carat gold, it is long, it is big, but it has not that value. Why? Because value for that goldsmith is according to gold. At the same time, you may go and say that, no, what do you mean? This is given by my mother-in-law when I first entered into this house, etc. That has got emotional value for you. But according to gold, its value is very less. Why? 1 carat gold. Right? Why? Because he is not seeing the apparent form. He is seeing the essential gold. He is not fascinated by the effects. He is focused on the cause. The entire world is an effect of different variety of forms. The essential cause is Brahman. From the standpoint of Brahman, Brahman alone is, there is nothing else. From the standpoint of the world, we have to say that the world is an imagination on Brahman. Again, from the standpoint of Brahman, Brahman alone is, there is nothing else. From the standpoint of the world means when we are seeing the world, we have to say that Brahman is the cause, substratum of the world. And what is the world? The world is mere superimposition on that substratum Brahman. So world is the substratum, Brahman is the substratum, world is a superimposition, imagination. So actually, Brahman alone is, there is no world. But if you see the world, that world is mere illusion on Brahman. Actually, rope alone is, there is no snake. But if you are seeing the snake, then that snake has got its rope as its substratum. Is this clear? Now, in every single thing of the world, we have to take our attention to its substratum. That is the sadhana. In Drigdrishya Viveka, very beautiful verse is there. It says, Asti bhati priyam rupam namachetyam shapanchakam adyatrayam brahma rupam jagat rupam tatodvayam. It says, there are 5 aspects. This also verse we have seen earlier. It's nothing new I am telling you. There are 5 aspects in any object. Asti, existence. Bhati, consciousness. Priyam, bliss. Rupam, form. Nama, name. 5 aspects are there in every object. Adyatrayam Brahma Rupam. So, Asti Bhati Priyam, Satchidananda is Brahma Rupa. Jagat Rupam Tatodvayam. The latter two are which? Rupa and Nama, form and name, belong to the world. Means what? This is watch. We say this is watch. Actually, there are 5 aspects in watch. Existence aspect, consciousness aspect, bliss aspect, form of watch and name watch. So, if I say this watch is Sat, from the standpoint of Asti, I am not wrong. If I say watch is consciousness, I am not wrong. Watch is bliss, I am not wrong. Watch is the form of watch, I am not wrong. And if I say watch is the name watch, I am not wrong. The only important thing to understand is what? Asti Bhati Priyam, Satchidananda is its essential nature. The name and form are imagined. So, if I say watch is Sat, I have to say everything is Sat, because it is constant. Adyatrayam Brahma Rupam. The first 3 aspects are common in all beings. Form different and therefore name given is different. But Asti Bhati Priyam, Satchidananda aspect is same. That Brahman is the substratum. That's what was explained in the previous verse, 226, where it is said, sadidaṃ paramādvaitaṃ. svasmādanyasya vastuno'bhāvāt. Brahman alone is, there is nothing other than Brahman. Nahi hyanyadasti kiṃcit. So Brahman is the substratum, verse number 226. World is superimposition, verse number 227. Getting it? Now, to explain this point, Shankaracharya gives one example. We took example of gold and ornaments. Shankaracharya gives example of pot and clay and pot. Let us read verse number 228. mṛtkāryabhūto'pi mṛdo na bhinnah
mṛtkāryabhūto'pi mṛdo na bhinnah
kumbho'sti sarvatra tu mṛtsvarūpāt
kumbho'sti sarvatra tu mṛtsvarūpāt
na kumbharūpaṃ pratyagasti kumbhah
na kumbharūpaṃ pratyagasti kumbhah
kuto mṛषा kalpitanāmamatrah
kuto mṛषा kalpitanāmamatrah
mṛtkāryabhūto'pi mṛdo na bhinnah kumbho'sti sarvatra tu mṛtsvarūpāt na kumbharūpaṃ pratyagasti kumbhah kuto mṛषा kalpitanāmamatrah. Mrid, the half, the mrid means clay. Because of sandhi, sometimes that mrid will become mrit. Don't misunderstand to be dead person. That is mrita. Ta is complete. This is half, mrid or mrit. Okay, don't confuse yourself. Okay, mrit or mrid means clay. Kumbha means pot. What is he saying? mṛtkāryabhūto'pi kumbha mṛdah na bhinnah. Kumbha, pot, mṛtkāryabhūto'pi. Though it is an effect of clay, mṛdah na bhinnah, it is not different from clay. A pot is an effect of clay, but it is not different from clay. Sarvatra tu mṛtsvarūpāt. Why? Because all the time it is of the nature of clay. See, clay is there which now has become pot. That means some potter has made the clay into a pot. Now that pot, even when it is existing as pot, it is clay only. Suppose you touch the pot. What are you touching? Clay only you are touching. See, remember the two laws. If there is a pot, it has to have a cause, and that cause is clay. Why? Because that pot is nothing but clay in another form. Second law. So pot is nothing but clay. Is not different from clay. Why? Always it is of that same nature. And why it is confirmed that clay is the cause of the pot? Because when you remove clay from the pot, nothing will remain. Pot will not remain. So clay has to be the pot. Clay has to be the cause of the pot, and that is the cause is nothing but effect is nothing but cause in different form. So the pot is nothing but clay in another form. Therefore, pot is clay alone. Na kumbharūpaṃ pratyagasti. There is no pot different from clay. Then kumbha kutah? Then Shankaracharya says, why are we calling it as pot then? Valid question. If pot is clay, clay itself has become pot, and even when it is pot, it is nothing but clay, then why are you calling it as pot? Mṛषा kalpita nama matraha. It is a mere name wrongly imagined. Because the clay has changed its form, we have given a new name, but it is actually clay alone. Ornaments are gold in different forms. They are gold alone. At no point they are different from gold. Isn't it? You cannot say that, once upon a time they were gold, now they are ornament. But even now they are gold only. Even now the pot is clay alone. Correct. Next verse, in continuation. Let us read verse number 229. Kenapi mṛtभिन्नतया swarupam घटस्य संदर्शयितुं न शक्यते अतो घटः कल्पित एव मोहात् मृदेव सत्यं परमार्थभूतम् केनापि मृद्भिन्नतया स्वरूपं घटस्य संदर्शयितुं न शक्यते अतो घटः कल्पित एव मोहात् मृदेव सत्यं परमार्थभूतम्. Beautiful verse. He says, Kena api, by anyone, mṛtभिन्नतया, different from clay, ghatasya swarupam, nature of the pot, sandarshayitum na shakyate, cannot be shown. It is not possible to show pot as different from clay. Earlier verse, kumbha was the word used for pot. Here ghata, it means same. Nobody can show that pot is different from clay. Kenapi, by anyone, sandarshayitum na shakyate. It is impossible to show what? Ghatasya swarupam, the pot, mṛtभिन्नतया, is different from clay. Nobody can show it. Why? Because it is not possible. Ataha, therefore, ghataha mohādeva kalpitaha. Therefore, this concept of ghata, pot, is a delusory concept. Mṛdeva satyam, clay alone is truth. Paraṃ, abiding reality is that clay alone. Now, Shankaracharya is using these kind of words because he wants to point out to something. In Chandogya Upanishad, there is a very famous 6th chapter, in very famous line, Vācārambhanam vikaro namadheyam mṛttika ityeva satyam. There Rishi is saying, Vācārambhanam vikaraha, the effect, the modification, namadheyam is only namesake. Vācārambhanam, it is just changes in speech. You call it pot, you call it plate, you call it big vessel, jar. These are nothing but names. Mṛttika ityeva satyam. The truth is clay alone. Truth is clay alone. All other modifications of clay, all other effects of clay are nothing but different names. They are just modifications of speech. Truth is clay alone. In the same way, the point is what? That pot is nothing but clay. Nobody can show pot to be different from clay. It is never different from clay. Therefore, it is clay alone. You understand where the discussion is going? Now, example is over in 2 verses. Drishtanta. Now, Darshtantika will be in the next verse, where he will say what? Let us read. Then we will come back. What is he saying? Verse 230. Sadbrahma karyam sakalaṃ sadaiva.
Sadbrahma karyam sakalam sadevam.
Tanmatrametan na tato'nyadasti. Astiti yo vakti na tasya mohaha. vinirgato nidritavat prajalpah. Satbrahma karyam sakalam sadaiva tanmatrametan tato'nyadasti asti iti yo vakti natasya mohaha vinirgato nidritavat prajalpah. In some books there will be some differences. Some books it will be Sadbrahma karyam sakalam sadaivam. Sadaivam means sada evam. Sadaiva means sada eva. Both are fine. Tanmatrametan. In some books it will be sanmatrametan. That's also fine. What is the meaning? Let us see. The point is what? The world which is an effect is actually essentially the cause Brahman itself. You can never at any point of time call that world is different from Brahman. Sakalam, everything, sada, at all times, sat brahma karyam, it is the effect of real Brahman, and therefore tanmatram etat, it is of that nature alone. Means what? It is Brahman alone. Na tato'nyadasti, it is never different from it. The entire world being the effect of Brahman is always Brahman and never different from Brahman. Understanding? The entire world being effect of Brahman is ever Brahman and never different from Brahman. Asti iti yaha vakti. Yaha, one who, asti iti vakti, one who says that no, world is different from Brahman. What is the Upanishad? What is the Shruti? What are the Mahatmas telling? That the world being effect of Brahman is Brahman alone and is not different from Brahman. That's what the Shruti is telling. Now, if somebody says, no, asti iti yaha vakti, one who says that no, world is there, other than Brahman, there is world, tasya mohaha na vinirgataha. His moha, his delusion is not gone. And therefore, nidritavat prajalpaha. He is like a person who is blabbering in sleep. Don't take him seriously. So anybody who says that no, world is very much real, there is Dvaita, there is this reality, that is reality. Anyone who says that world is different from Brahman, world is real, Brahman is different, anybody who says that is like a person blabbering in sleep. Nidritavat, like a person sleeping, prajalpaha, but is talking. Like that person, don't take him seriously. Why? He is still sleeping. He has not woken up to the reality. Therefore, ignore. What is the reality? The reality is Brahman alone is there. There is no world. If at all you see the world, that world is nothing but Brahman. A baddha, bound person sees the world to be real. Sadhaka, the seeker or mumukshu, sees the world to be unreal. Says that the world is not real. It is an illusion. But a siddha, accomplished, liberated person says that the world is Brahman. He doesn't say world is not real. He says world is Brahman. See, Tulsidas Ji Maharaj says in Ramacharitmanas, Siya Rama mein sab jaga jani, karahu pranam johri jug pani. He is not saying that world is Maya. He says everything is, whole world is Siya Ram. Ramji, Shri Ram is everywhere. And therefore I keep prostrating everywhere. Why? Everything is Ram. So what has to change? See, the world is still same, Brahman is same. But one person is saying that the world is real, another person is saying world is not real, third person is saying world is Brahman. What is happening? It is only the difference in vision. Change the vision, you change your world. That's why, very beautiful quote, Yatha drishtihi tatha srishti. The world is as you see it. Example, let us see. One very interesting example is there. There is one small elephant made up of sugar and a monkey made up of sugar. Okay? Small elephant made up of sugar, monkey made up of sugar. Now, eyes see the difference, but the tongue sees the oneness. Why? Because tongue only understands taste, and taste of sugar is sweet, no matter whether it is in the shape of elephant or a monkey or a cube or anything else. So there is one vision which shows me difference, there is another vision which shows me oneness. Now we have to come to this vision of oneness. How? The vision of delusion shows me difference, vision of knowledge shows me oneness. I have to give up the vision of delusion which shows me difference, and I have to come to vision of knowledge which says that everything is one. Please, please, please note, Vedanta is not saying everything is same. Vedanta is saying everything is one. It is not same. Same means what? There are two things which are similar. They are called as same. We are saying, Vedanta is saying that it is one. Vedanta is not telling that Brahman is there, world is there and both are same. No. Vedanta is saying Brahman alone is. On that Brahman, if you see the world, it is an imagination. It is actually Brahman alone. Now in that world, when you see the differences, you will have to behave differently, fine. But essentially they are one. They are not same, they are one. Clear? Okay. Now, what? The topic continues. Suppose you think that world is different from Brahman. What will happen? That discussion we will take up in the next class. Important points that we learned today is, what is the relationship between Brahman and the world? If you see the world, then it is a mere superimposition on Brahman, which is the real substratum. And the substratum alone is, the world is not there, the superimposition is not there. Please understand this. We saw the example of gold, and Shankaracharya here has given example of clay, where ornaments are actually gold, pot is actually clay. But understand the limitation of example. In the example, the gold and the ornaments are on the same level of reality. Both are in vyavaharika satta. So too, clay and pot are same level of reality. Brahman and world are not same level of reality. Better example is what? The rope and the snake. He will use that example. 2 verses down the line, he will use that. Where snake is a mere illusion on rope, or mirage water, water which is just illusion on the desert sand. It appears to be there, but it is not there. They are on different levels of reality. In the same way, Brahman is the substratum, which is the absolute reality. World is a superimposition, which is transactional reality, vyavaharika satta. From the ultimate standpoint, Brahman alone is, there is no world. From the relative transactional standpoint, world is there, but it is a superimposition on the real substratum, Brahman. Okay, anybody who says that world is real and is different from Brahman, he is still deluded and is talking in his sleep. It's not woken up to reality. Okay, interesting. Let us see remaining in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.